NBA free agency has just commenced, and it is unfortunate to report, coming from a Laker fan, that Paul George, I was really hopeful. Paul George has re-signed to the Oklahoma City Thunder with a 4-year, $137 million contract. This is very, very sad for me because I was thinking, getting Kawhi is a stretch in and of itself because there's all these complications of the Spurs not wanting to trade their best guy to a team in the Western Conference to make them stronger, and it's really a stretch to get Kawhi. Now getting LeBron, that's going to be a stretch too, man, because while he doesn't have any other options, he might just end up staying in Cleveland instead of coming because he didn't want to come alone. Now there are some things that he likes, and that his family's in LA right now, and he's got kids going to school, and he said they were going to be a big factor in his decision. But I thought, okay, worst case scenario, at least we have Paul George. We'll make at least a first round exit in the playoffs. We'll at least be an 8 seed. Yep, that's out the window, and we have yet again just another year that is doomed. We probably won't even make the playoffs. It's fucking terrible. But I'll read you guys what this ESPN article says. It says Paul George has agreed to a 4-year, $137 million contract to stay with the Oklahoma City Thunder, league sources told ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski. The deal includes a player option on the 4th year, so what that means is he can opt in and he can opt out and become a free agent. It says without taking any free agency meetings, George made the announcement that he is staying with the Thunder at a house party in Oklahoma City hosted by Russell Westbrook. George took to Instagram late Saturday to post a photo of himself with Westbrook along with the caption, "Unfinished business." This is unfortunate. Now, something else that I was watching was he has some series that's called My Journey that he's made. I guess that was supposed to be his move, his way of telling LA that he's gonna stay there. Now here's the thing, okay? The idea that signing with OKC was a good move on his part for winning is just not true. It's not like they're gonna actually do anything. The Thunder are gonna go nowhere. The Thunder are absolutely gonna go nowhere. The only way I can see them going anywhere is if Russell Westbrook decides not to be a stat, someone who just runs up his stats all the time. And, they have Melo, who's massively washed up. He's super washed up. But the only way is if Russ starts playing defense when he doesn't have the ball in his hands. He's not always trying to peer to get the rebounds, so he's playing defense. And he lets the big men do their job in getting rebounds and stop leading the league in uncontested rebounds. But really, I think the main key part is Russell Westbrook not being a good team player. He's not facilitating his teammates in any way. But also, the coach is really bad. Billy Donovan, he needs to go. After they choked that 3-1 lead in the Western Conference Finals against the Warriors, I wasn't ready to say that they should fire him just yet because I didn't think they should at the time. I said, basically got him to a little less. Not as far as Scott Brooks took them because they went to the finals with Scott Brooks. But, at this point in time, it's very clear Billy Donovan does not know how to coach this team. And there's no excuse, and I repeat, recall that they lost in 6 games to a team led by a rookie. Now, of course, it was Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell was great. He was a great, amazing rookie, right? But there's no way that a team with Russell Westbrook, Paul George, and Carmelo Anthony can all be on the same team together with also other pieces like Steven Adams and lose. There's no way. There's no way you can lose in the first round in 6 games, no less. Not even taking it to 7, right? So it's clear that Billy Donovan does not know how to coach this team. And the truth is, they're probably going to end up doing another first-round exit. Maybe they make it to the second round and get knocked out in 5 or 6. But they did not mesh last year. And unless Russell Westbrook decides to make a philosophical change in his play in the game, they're going to continue playing poorly. But I just have to, restate how disappointed I am in Paul George. And I'm not mad at Paul George, just so you know. I'm disappointed in him because I was in the mindset as a Laker fan that, it's a stretch to get Kawhi, and it's a stretch to get LeBron. But I was like, you know what? Paul George, it's his hometown. He said he'd love to play for him. It's pretty clear that he's going to come. So I thought if we have Paul George, Kawhi, and LeBron all as prospects, we'll at least land with one. Please, just get us to an 8 seed. Get us in the playoffs so I can watch basketball again, as a fervent, fan and really watch it. Ah, man, I have no hopes. I'm not confident at all that any of those three are going to arrive into LA. I don't think any of them are going to end up coming. So what do the Lakers do? Oh, I really don't know, man. I don't know. What can we do? What can we do at this point? We're not going to get Paul George. Now, obviously, LeBron and Kawhi are still possibilities. Even if we don't get Kawhi now, there's a chance we'll get Kawhi after this year because, remember, he's got 1 year in his contract, so they'll be trading him with his 1 year on the contract. But still, there's a small chance we'll get him in. And, I mean, he said LA, so we don't know if it's the Clippers or not. Obviously, the Clippers are not LA's team, but you know what I'm talking about. So I really, really, really am hoping that we can get someone. But I was surprised that Paul George decided to re-sign with OKC. So I was really surprised. I was convinced he was going to come back to LA. But I guess he's just not coming. I really, really thought he was going to do it. I really thought he was going to do it. Some other free agency moves that have happened. We had Ed Davis go over. He went back. He went to the Nets, I believe it was. But there's something interesting. DeMarcus Cousins. There are apparently something that Woj retweeted on his Twitter. He said he retweeted a statement that was DeMarcus Cousins, Boogie Cousins, has had 2 interests in his free agency. 2 people called the phones. One of them being the Los Angeles Lakers. Good thing we're adding more prospects. Hopefully we can actually land someone. He's going to supposedly have meetings with both the Pelicans and the Lakers. So that's going to be very interesting. Whether he's going to stay with New Orleans or whether he's going to come to Los Angeles. I'd love to have Boogie Cousins on our team. Would he be the one to take us to an 8 seed? I don't know because I mean he couldn't do it with the Kings, but could he do it with Los Angeles? I mean, I don't know. Some other news: you got Marco Bellinelli agreeing to a 2-year, $12 million deal with the Spurs. So he's going back. He's going back over to the Spurs. He wasn't on the Spurs anymore. He used to be on the Spurs. I think he won a championship with the Spurs, if I'm not mistaken. I think he had won a championship with the Spurs. He also had one. I remember him winning the 3-point contest when he was what was considered a dark horse in the race. I know he was actually with Sacramento for a little bit, but he's been sort of jumping around teams as of recent. I guess just kind of flopping around, you know. Here's something interesting too. Derrick Rose has finalized a 1-year deal to return with Minnesota. So Minnesota, you know, I guess they barely made an 8 seed but got rocked into the playoffs. Now, before that had happened, I actually had thought that they were going to do well. I thought they were going to be a good team because they looked like they were a good team. I was like, wow, like these guys are going to do well. You know, they're going to play well. But they really dropped the ball. But to be fair, though, the difference between the 3 and the 8 is only by 2 games. But that doesn't change the quality of the team, right? The team didn't perform very well. They weren't very good, and they got their shit kicked in. Obviously, you know, the Rockets kicked their shit in. But there was something really sad that I saw. So there was a post of somebody who like posted a picture with Derrick Rose. Now I'm not even 100% sure if this is true or not. I guess there's no way to really tell, but he was basically saying that he went up to him saying, you're the man. Then Derrick Rose is like, oh, man, I wish I was, or like I used to be, and I'm just not anymore. That really is heartbreaking, man, because I was really actively watching and viewing the NBA the year that he won the MVP. That was the year that my Lakers got swept by the Mavericks in the semis, which is so fucking sad, man. But that year, man, his team was really shit, and he was able to perform really well. And it's so devastating that the poor guy has now been, I mean, he's essentially been diminished down to just, I mean, oh, man, he's just so injury-ridden. He's so injury-ridden. He has no knees, man. I mean, there's so many jokes about him and stuff like that. It's so sad. I don't know if I actually mentioned about the Paul George contract. He's got a player option on the 4th year on the last year, so he can opt out to be an unrestricted free agent. But what that means is that he's stuck there for 3 years unless he requests a trade, which is something obviously a lot of people do. McDermott has agreed to a 3-year deal for $22 million with Indiana. It's an interesting move. I don't know. Oh, here's here's pretty big. Chris Paul. We all knew this was gonna happen. Chris Paul he's gonna sign a 4-year, $160 million max contract to stay with the Houston Rockets. That was almost like a no-brainer. People knew he was gonna stay with the Houston Rockets. I mean, where the fuck was he gonna go, right? He's gonna stay with the Houston Rockets. And so that's what he did. Now it was. We'll never know. And the Warriors have gotten so many breaks now that I think of it, whether it be Kawhi Leonard last year in the Western Conference Finals and then Chris Paul this year in the Western Conference Finals. I really do believe, with honest, really, legitimately do think that had Chris Paul not been injured, I think they actually would have won that series. They would have won. They would have won Game 7. I think they really would have. I mean, in Game 7, if you look at it, they had a solid lead for a while, but it broke down once they just didn't have the energy and the apparatus to keep that up. And if they had Chris Paul, they would have been able to keep it going for longer. And it was very clear that they would have won that series. And it's devastating to see that he was injured. But the truth is while it's a good signing, I don't know, giving a max contract to Chris Paul, he's injury ridden, man. He's injury ridden. He's injury prone, just filled with injuries, man. So I don't know how I feel about that contract on their part. You know what I mean? So hopefully he'll be able to stay healthy, but he gets injured pretty much every single year, and so they mess up. The Clippers have been messed up a lot. Obviously, he's now with the Rockets. He's been with the Rockets since last year, but I mean, he got injured in his first year with the Rockets as well. But of course, it ended up playing out with James Harden and Chris Paul. It ended up working out well. But this was a very interesting move, and I'll keep you guys updated, hopefully, on the free agency moves that happen.